What's going on YouTube? I'm Cooper, this is the Cooper Music Page, and today we're going to be going over the basics of the guitar. For today's video, you're going to need a guitar, a tuner, clip-on tuner will work, and a guitar pick. Now I don't know what level you're at watching this video, whether you're a brand new beginner that just got their first guitar or somebody who is watching because they enjoy playing guitar and want to learn new things. This video might not be for you. This is going to be the very basics of everything you need to know before you even seen a guitar. So all the parts of the guitar, how everything works, some basic stuff to go over so you can start playing. And then in later videos, I will show you how to form chords and what you can do with them to improve your playing, whether you're a beginner or trying to improve and flourish at an intermediate level. So let's go over the parts of the guitar. This is the body of the guitar right here. This is what makes all the sound project out to the crowd. Up here you have the headstock. This part right here is the headstock. And then right here is the neck. Now there's other things on these main parts that we also need to know. And that is the tuning machines that hold the strings in place up here on the headstock. We have the nut, which is the tension point at the top of the strings. We have the fretboard or fingerboard on the neck, which is this wood part right here. And then on the fretboard or fingerboard, you have frets, which space out the fretboard to give you different pitches. Obviously, you have the strings going across the guitar. There are 6 strings on a guitar. When you get down here, there is a sound hole where all the music projects out of, and a saddle, which holds your bridge, which is the tension on the lower end of the strings, and your bridge pins, which holds them in place similar to how the tuning pegs up here hold the strings up on the headstock. Before you buy your first guitar, know that it doesn't really matter how much you spend on your first guitar. You can spend the lowest amount at the low end at the guitar store or the ridiculously highest amount you can afford, but it's all going to sound the same when you start, which is not great. It just takes practice and practice, and eventually you'll learn the proper way to do things, and that'll help you no matter what guitar you're playing. One thing to note before you buy your first guitar is there are 2 basic types of guitars, maybe you can say 3. You have an acoustic, you have electric, and then you have acoustic-electric. So an acoustic guitar is just that. It is just the guitar with the sound hole, which projects out to the crowd all on its own. Then you have an electric, which you need an amp for, so if you're just starting out, maybe just go with an acoustic so you don't have to worry about getting all this other gear and having power and all this stuff in order to practice and get better right away. Then you have acoustic-electric. This is an acoustic-electric Ibanez right here, and all that means is that it has preamps and electronics and pickups inside the body, so it can also be plugged into an amp, and you can play it that way as well as just acoustically. Now when you get your guitar, you're going to want to play it. And you have to be in a proper position because you're going to develop bad habits if you're not. So you want to make sure that the guitar is parallel with your body, right? You want it to be the back up against your body so that the sound hole is facing the crowd, and you want to be able to play it that way, right? You're going to want to play it like this initially because you want to be able to see where you're putting your fingers on the fretboard. Figuring out how everything looks is great for learning, but you're going to have to get used to playing without looking as much eventually. So make sure you do practice with it properly positioned on your body so you don't form the bad habits of curling your hand around and leaning it back too much so that it'll be uncomfortable later when you're trying to actually play more advanced things and for longer periods of time. Now you can sit down like this with it propped up on your knee, or you can put a strap on the strap hooks that come on, I'd say, most guitars. I do have a guitar that doesn't have strap hooks, but that's a classical guitar. We'll get into that later. One thing I will say before we start getting into the rest of the guitar is when you do practice, once you get it down while you're sitting and focusing really hard on what you're trying to learn, practice standing up. Get your strap and practice while you're standing, because let me tell you, it was a big change going from practicing all the time sitting down to trying to play live for the first couple times while standing up. And it was a big change, and I kept messing up things because my hand and my body wasn't used to being in the position and practicing in the position that I was when I was comfortable, you know, hunched over, looking at everything, and doing all the right things sitting down. So you need to practice standing up as well once you get the hang of what you're trying to learn. All right, this is a guitar pick. These are my special branded Cooper Music guitar picks. But this is a guitar pick. They come in lots of different materials, lots of different thicknesses, different shapes, but they're all generally triangular shaped. Just pick one that feels right. A softer, flimsier pick will be good for starting out strumming, whereas a thicker pick like this will be good for picking individual notes and getting a nice solid sound out of your strings. So if you're starting out, get a relatively thin pick that you're comfortable with. So how do I hold a pick? Well, you take your strumming hand and you tilt it back, right? And when you tilt it back, your index finger and your thumb will want to automatically come together. And that spot where they come together, you want to stick your pick in there, and that's how you hold your pick when you're strumming over here. It'll take some getting used to, but you have to find a sweet spot in how loose or tight to hold it based on what you want to do. And trust me, you'll drop a lot of picks into your sound hole. But that's as easy as flipping it upside down and shaking it around. Got it. So the way notes work in music is there are 12 of them, and they go in order from A through G with various sharps and flats based on going up or down a semitone from the original note. Except for B and E, they don't have a sharp. They just go from B to C and E to F. Don't ask me why, I have no clue. So when you put different notes together, you get different chord voicings, and we'll go over that in much later videos, but this is just the basics, and you need to kind of know some of the notes in order to get your guitar in tune and start learning things. So the notes you'll need to start tuning your guitar are E, A, D, G, B, E. So without doing anything with your fingering hand, the thickest string is an E, the next string down is an A, then you have a D, then a G, B, and E. And a good way to remember that is Ed ate dog, goodbye Ed. Because we don't appreciate people who eat pets in this house. So this is a clip-on tuner from Fender, and all you do is you clip it onto the headstock. I put the guitar out of tune so I can show you how to tune it real quick. But this will tell me what note is actually being played, and based on what note I see, I'll know if it's flat, then I need to go up a pitch. If it's sharp, I need to go down a pitch. So it'll turn green when you're right at the pitch for each note. So if you're a little sharp or a little flat, it'll tell you which way you are. Yellow is for flat, red is for a little sharp, and you just turn it the way that you need to. And that's how you tune your guitar. So now that we know what these open notes are called, I'm going to show you how the other notes fit onto the guitar neck right here. So each fret is numbered based on where you put your hand. Now I know that the metal pieces are called frets, but where you put your finger is the space between the frets. So for the remainder of my videos, when I say put your finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, you will be putting it on the 3rd space on the E string to get that note. So let's go with the A string since it's already A and we're going A through G. It'll look more in order for you. So it's every semitone is a fret, and that's pretty simple if you understand how the notes work, so I'm going to show you how they work right now. So you have A sharp, B, C, remember there's no B sharp, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, there's no E sharp, so you go to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then this 12th fret is A again. And that's an octave. Since there are only 12 notes, in music. Once you get through the 12 notes, raising pitch each time, it comes back around full circle, but it keeps raising in pitch, and that's called an octave. You can go an octave up or an octave down. So with this being the A down here, the octave A, an octave higher, is the A up here on the 12th fret. Other than that, all the notes in between you will learn over time as you get more familiar with the chord shapes and how the chords are made and scales. But for now, just know that each note is A through G with sharps and flats, always going one direction on a string. You will get finger dents when you start playing, and don't worry, they will get better over time. It might take about a month or two. I think mine took about maybe 2 months to form into these calluses that you see here, where I now can't feel much on the tips of my fingers, but it makes it a lot easier for me to get the chords when I don't have to worry about my hands falling apart or getting all these blisters and stuff from practicing. Your fingers will start to peel and blister over and peel, and you'll build up blisters on top of blisters, and eventually you'll just get these calluses and you'll be good to go. Until you start using your pinky and other parts of your fingers with new scales and new techniques, and then you'll have to build up those parts as well. So it still happens to me to this day, but just know that it will get better, so stick with it and get your calluses built up so that you could be an awesome guitar player. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and I hope you are encouraged to play guitar. Write down in the comments if I missed anything, if you want to know more about a guitar or some things that I didn't cover quite well. Let me know and I'll go over those. Stay tuned for more lesson videos where I show you how to restring your guitar and do maintenance on your guitar, clean it up, make it look nice and stay well conditioned, and also learning how to make chords and notes and scales and improve your playing all across the board. So look out for those. As always, don't forget that you can use promo code Cooper10 at checkout if you go to CooperMusicSwag.com and order something. All your Cooper Music needs as far as shirts and sweaters and masks to stay COVID compliant. So check that out. If you want to stay up to date with my new videos every Monday, go ahead and click up here to subscribe. If you want to check out another video you'll probably like, go ahead and click right down here.